What's up? How you doing? Here we are, Tuesday, slight breeze, west to east, very slight. I'd say probably like 6 miles an hour right now, but temperature perfect. So got a couple of items here. First, Goodnow Farms chocolate, signature line, Guatemala, 77% dark chocolate. Get that. Haven't tried it yet. Very expensive. It's very thin too. But after I eat, I'm gonna try it. Tonight is pizza night. We're trying a new place. That cat is back, little cat over there, watching me. But anyway, we're gonna try this after I eat. Don't want to spoil my appetite, although it probably won't. But anyway, got a lot of awards, this chocolate. Made with freshly pressed cacao butter, handcrafted single origin chocolate. If this is good, I'll be eating a lot of this. We'll see. I love chocolate though. I hate lamb. Don't like lamb. I know I've said it before, but I'm making a point of saying it again. That's how much I don't like it. So I got a new book here to read. Cape Cod Shipwrecks, Graveyard of the Atlantic. I love these kind of books. You know what I don't like? Fantasy movies. I go to sleep when I go to one of these. My kids want to see it. You know, it just bores me. I don't even pay attention to it. I have no idea what's going on. I'm thinking of other things. I'm thinking of all kind of other things, but I can't watch those kind of movies. And if anything on the screen is in reference to Star Wars, man, I can't tell you how much I can't stand that movie and everything that followed it. I cannot stand it. But anyway, it's got all these cool stories in here. Look at that. So, according to this book, more than 2,500 ships are reported to have been shipwrecked off the Cape Cod, since the first wreck was recorded in 1627. So I love these kind of stories, and I'm a big fan of the Cape. Used to go down there when I was a kid. School would finish beginning of July, and we would go the next day, and we wouldn't come back until the very, very beginning, like the day, Labor Day was basically it. Labor Day, September. Not Labor Day. Is it Labor Day? Yeah. The Jerry Lewis muscular dystrophy telethon on that day, and then the next day school would start. Yeah, Labor Day right now. Spent a lot of time down the Cape. Spent a lot of time in Maine. Got a map here. So there's a little town down the Cape that my father would take me fishing when I was a kid. And it's such a cool little place called Katuitt. And Katuitt had an area where it would kind of, I don't know, trap the fish. Fish would get in there, and you know, they thought it was like a big aquarium. They wouldn't leave. So I would throw my line in there, and I'd yank. Within 15-20 seconds, I would pull a fish, couple of fish at the same time out. It was crazy back then. So we had to cut through a forest to get to this area, and it wasn't a normal shoreline where it gradually goes down. You know, the grade would be like, I don't know, 7%, something like that. This was an immediate drop, so it was all this spongy material. I don't even know what that was. It was like, you know, like sponges, but soft sponges. And right at the edge of where the sponge ended and the water began was like a drop, like maybe 30 feet down. I remember one time when I was a kid, because that's when this happened, I could see somebody snorkeling, had the tube hanging out the water on the top, and he was like moving around, and then he put his head up and he looked at me. He goes, "Throw your line over there, there's a school of scuppies." So I threw the line over there, and you would think the impact of the lure going into the water would make them scatter, but nope, didn't. I kept catching them. And you would think at the same time that if they saw one of their buddies being yanked out, they would say in their brains, I know the brains are, you know, size of a peanut, but you would think they would say, "Hey, this is not right. Kept pulled out like that. Something's going on here. Let's get out of here." But no, they were there. Every time I would throw the line, I would pull them out. And there was another time my father went. I was at school, and I don't know, he had like a day off or something. He went down there, and he told me that he was throwing the line in at one point. They ran out of bait. He went with a buddy of his, and they were pulling in that area, and the hook was grabbing on their sides, and it was crazy. And then they overfished that area. Not us, but the fishing industry down the Cape overfished. And we would go down there and we would catch like maybe 10 fish, where before we would fill up like a 5-gallon bucket, each of us. So this here is a map of that area. And I like the Cape. I like these really small towns, small fisherman towns. Always been fascinated by fishermen. You know, just the whole thing, getting up early, getting in your little boat, going out, you know, I don't know, 15 miles out, and then sitting there and grabbing the fish, not commercially, but for fun. But I like these guys that do it for a living, you know. They have all these stories about almost drowning, ship, you know, crashes into them, they always go under. So there's a lot of little cute towns like that in on the Cape. When I was a kid and we would go over the Sagamore Bridge, they have these pillars at the front and at the end, and we would go over the bridge and I would hold my breath from one side of Massachusetts and bring it all the way to the other, and then I would breathe again. It was like 15 seconds worth of crossing time. But I will be investigating this map thoroughly and reading this fine book. www.saltypilgrim.com. That's a lot of interesting stuff in there. And I think the creepiest thing, you know, besides seeing a mountain range under the water, is when you're you know, swimming in deep water. Like say you know, went out with a nice boat, and then you went swimming in that area, and then you look down and you see a huge ship right underneath you, just sitting there. Kind of creepy. But yeah, the Cape, I would get up early in the morning, get on my bicycle. You know, this is like, I was like 12 years old. I'd get up early, creep out of the house. And we had a floor that made that creaky sound. You know, and I was always thinking, you know, in my mind, hearing that, the creaks, I thought it was like amplified 100 times. I thought everybody could hear that, and they would wake up and say, "What the hell's going on?" Nobody could hear that. So I would go, I'd shut the door nice and slow, and then I'd get on my bike and I would take off. My bike back then was like my car. I used to take that far, and you know, everywhere. And I would, you know, I kind of think like it was a vehicle. But I would get on my bike early in the morning, and I would end up at some beach way out of the way. You know, one of those beaches where not many people go to. But at that hour, no one was there. Like in Katuitt, when I would go with my father, we would be there, you know, like 5:15 in the morning, something like that. And we'd fish till 7:30, and we'd fill up a 5-gallon bucket. Like I said, 2 of them. Yeah, I always wanted to have a boat. Now a nice breeze. Now it's switched. Now it's going east to west. Got to make up your mind. So yeah, I always wanted one of those. I want to go out far, do some fishing, maybe have a grill on the boat, clean the fish, get the scales off, you know, remove all that stuff, have a nice fire going on there, and a little bit of olive oil, salt, pepper, a little bit of oregano, and eat the fish. You know, I'm not into the big fish, sitting there, you know, trying to pull in a monster fish like a swordfish. I want the, you know, that size, pound. Remove the bones. We had this neighbor, my father went fishing one time, and we invited him for dinner. So you want to come over, we have fresh fish. And, you know, my mother cooked the fish, fried it up. We had the lemon, the olive oil, salt, pepper, oregano, and kind of open it up like that, and then you remove the spine with all the bones, and then occasionally you find little bones, you remove them. Well, this guy, not that sharp, he took the knife and the fork and didn't open the fish up. The fish was like, you know, looking like a fish, and he started cutting it the way you cut a steak, like it was a fillet. I want to tell him, have you ever seen a fish like that with no bones inside? What are you cutting? So he was cutting it like a saw, and we were looking at him, and then he was kind of mixing it up and put the stuff in his mouth with all the thorns, you know, the bones and everything, almost gagged to death. I'd explained to him, you have to take that stuff out. You've never eaten a fish before in your life. I think about that, and I go, you know, I mean, at the time he must have been, I'd say like in his 70s, maybe 73, 74. And he was eating the fish like it was a steak. And it wasn't a fillet. It wasn't like they, you know, they cut it like a fillet, as they say. This was a whole fish with the head, the eyeball looking at you. And he had the steak knife and everything. And he mixed it up. So, I will try this. I will be back for commentary. And, I don't know, to me, looks like I'm going to like it. Ingredients: single origin cacao beans, organic cane sugar, single origin cacao butter, I don't know, maybe mispronouncing one of these, because in one, the cacao beans are spelled A-O at the end, and the other one is O-A. They flip it around. So I'm probably mispronouncing that. But use your imagination and fix it. A lot of siren activity. All right, I will be back. I'm waiting for the pizzas to arrive. Got mushroom and cheese, and we got another one, pepperoni and cheese, and good enough. Ciao for now. All right, we're back. Now, I had the pizza. Pizza was very good. First time we've gotten pizza from this place, but it was thumbs up. So we're going to try some of this Goodnow Farms chocolate, Guatemala. 77% chocolate, dark chocolate. Comes like in a little envelope or envelope. Mama's boy. Going back home, visit Mama. Wow. Look at that. That's a cool piece of chocolate. Get the camera light in there. Comes in a little secondary envelope or envelope. Wow. Smell the chocolate in there. I think this whole thing is a serving. Very rich. I highly recommend it. Rich chocolate. So, if you love chocolate the way I love chocolate, you have to try some of this. It's very good. I mean, the chocolate is awesome. It's got that strong chocolate flavor. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. You know, I wish chocolate had the ability to induce nightmares at night when you go to sleep, because every once in a while I love a nightmare. It's a dream. It's not gonna eat you. You know, go to sleep. You know, every once in a while I have a nice one. Not every night, but once in a while. Not, you know, having a dream about Freddy Krueger. Delicious. But you know what? I could eat that whole thing. But somebody who's not as much into chocolate, probably one serving, according to them, is enough. Whatever they say is a serving. I don't know. Kind of dark out here now. Wow. I love that. So I think this is one serving because it says this whole thing is 55 grams. It's thin, 55 grams, and right here it says servings one serving size, 55 grams. 330 calories. I'm gonna go inside and give my my children a little bit of chocolate, see what they think. Just a taste, you know, see what they say. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. So I went inside, I gave a piece of chocolate. It's rich. I didn't wait around for the reaction because they were nibbling, and you know, I'll ask them in a few minutes when I go in. But yeah, this is great chocolate. I thank the people that made it. Goodnow Farms, and somewhere in Massachusetts. Sudbury, Mass. They're on 80 Goodnow Road. Wonder what came first, the road or the chocolate? I could have a good meal, and for dessert, just give me a big chunk of dark chocolate. Doesn't have to be too sweet, a little bit, but I don't want it to be a zero sugar. A little bit of sugar, you know, cane sugar. Oh, they put all the other crap in there. Corn syrup, I know when you break it down, it's all the same, sugar, but cane sugar to me just much better. And for these people that are using artificial sweeteners, I said this before, I'm going to say it again. If you have a big problem with 13, 14, 15 calories in a teaspoon, you know, sugar's not your problem. Because if you have 2 cups a day, 30 calories. I sneeze and I burn 40. 30 calories. My mother had a friend. Every few weeks was on a diet. So this friend would visit, and my mother would say, "You want some coffee?" And this person would say, "No, I cut out the coffee because I cut out sugar. I'm on a diet." I mean, how badly are you counting your calories that a teaspoon of sugar makes a difference? Maybe you should cut back on the amount of coffee you have a day, so it's only 1 cup, and that way you can enjoy it with 1 teaspoon of sugar. I knew someone who would put 16 teaspoons of sugar, or packets of sugar in an a tall iced coffee. 16 or 22, one or the other. Either one is high. You know, I like a little bit of sweet flavor, but not to the point where somebody says, "Would you like some coffee with your sugar?" I eat chocolate, so I'm not chocolate deficient. I don't want to go through that problem. But I really wish when you had, you know, high quality chocolate, you would have a nightmare at night, nice nightmare, wake you up in a cold sweat, and you go, "Okay, I'm in my house." I have this awesome nightmare where I'm really high above the clouds and I'm balancing on a rubber pole. I must be like, I don't know, 10, 12,000 feet up, maybe more. And my left leg, because I'm a righty, but my left leg is on the beam. It's only wide enough for my foot. And I'm like, and every slight, you know, twitch, every little breeze makes me go like this and like this. And at one point in my dream, I'm dreaming of jumping up and then hugging the pole and sliding down. And then I'm thinking, I'm gonna get friction burns. Maybe if I was wearing a nice Carhartt jacket, pants, you know, maybe an outfit like something like Uncle Jesse would wear from the Dukes of Hazzard, then I could slide down that pole. But you know, 12,000 feet is over 2 miles. Can you imagine sliding for 2 miles? That would light up your jacket. You know, you all of a sudden catch on fire from the friction. And you don't want to squeeze too hard. I mean, it would wear you out. So I have that dilemma in my dream, what to do. In the meantime, I'm just know, one of those dreams. I'm trying to think of another creepy dream I had. I did have one years ago. I was a kid. Must have been 11, 12, something like that. And it was a Sunday, I remember. Everybody was kind of like kicking back. You know, it was probably like 7:30 in the morning. Sounds like a Hellcat. 7:30 in the morning, and I was having a dream. I was on like a Bonanza episode. I was in the Wild West, and I was going into a saloon, you know, with those doors. What's the point of those doors anyway? So as I was trying to go into the saloon, somebody shot me in the back like 6 times, my shoulder blade, and it wasn't painful, but almost like my brain was creating a sensation, like I really got shot. And I remember I woke up and I was like, you know, like all stiff, and then I'm looking around, I go, oh, okay, it's a dream. It's a dream. Yeah, that one. And oh, I had one many years ago. So I'm on top of a mountain, on the flat area of a mountain, and I'm running because I could hear sounds of a bear, you know, like that. And I'm looking back and I don't see anything, but I can hear it getting closer. And I'm running and I'm running and I'm running. And then I run out of room and I leap off of the side of the mountain. And as I'm getting ready to crash into the ground below, because I'm at least like, I don't know, maybe 500-600 feet above the next level, just as I'm about to hit the ground, I wake up and I was breathing kind of heavy. So maybe a month goes by, maybe 5 weeks, and I'm having the same exact dream, except this time I know I'm dreaming in my dream. I'm like, okay, this is a dream. So I'm running from the bear and I jump off the side, the exact same thing. It was like somebody said take 2. And all of a sudden I'm getting ready to hit the ground, and I say to myself, don't wake up, it's just a dream. And I hit the ground kind of like the way you jump up, you know, 5 or 6 inches. It's kind of like one of those landings, and I walked away. And I said, I wasn't that bad. And then another time we had an oak tree in the backyard, and in my dream I climbed it and I fell out of the oak tree. But once again, I chose to stay asleep, and I landed feet first. Nothing happened. Remember that stupid, I remember this kid in my class, you know, he would always say, you know, if you have a dream and you die in your dream, you die in real life. Come up with this nonsense. Why would you die in real life? I mean, it may happen coincidentally, but normally if you die in your dream, you just wake up. You're like, what just happened? You don't die. For what reason? It's like your brain confuses it. Said, okay, I died in the dream, I'm just going to die in real life. Take you right out. So I've never died in a dream though, so I can't say for sure. But you know, if I did die, then who would know? If I did really die in real life and I had a dream that I was dying, nobody would know. It's not like you can come back and tell everybody I was having a dream and I died in the dream and then I died in real life, and everybody would be like, well, that confirms it. But yeah, I've never had a dream. Oh, and the other thing this kid would say, if you fall asleep like this, you'll never wake up. I fell asleep like that a couple of times just to test it. It's not true. Unless this is a simulation. So, which I don't believe in that theory that some scientists have pushed forward. I don't believe we're in a simulation. If it is a simulation, then what's the difference? It feels real. I always think in my dreams, when I'm dreaming, do the people in that dream for that period of time that I'm dreaming think they're real, like I think I'm real now? Like maybe somebody's dreaming this whole thing right now, and then I'm thinking the way I am that no, it's reality, but I'm actually part of a dream. And you say, well, no, because you have memories of the past. Well, what about if in the dream the dreamer gave me memories of the past, and the past never happened, right? And so I only have the memories implanted from the person who is actually in prime reality dreaming of all of this right now. I'm not really real. I know, nonsense, but I'm saying, how would you know? You wouldn't know. Like if you were in a dream and the dream felt like reality, no difference, you wouldn't be able to tell. Maybe I'm dreaming of this right now, and I've dreamed of all the other memories that I've just spoken about and implanted them in my brain right now. I mean, it's just strange, the whole reality of things. Memory, memory, if your brain thinks something happened, but it didn't, what's the difference? If you have a real memory of something, but it never happened, I was watching this video on YouTube, kind of like comparison sizes. Starts off with like little rocks, meteors, asteroids. What's going on here? Moves on to moons, planets like Earth, on the line, Saturn, Uranus. I know it's Uranus, but Uranus is more accurate. Neptune and all that. And then it moves on to the sun, and then after that another star and another one, and it gets to the point where you have something that is like, say, like that big, and then you compare it, to the scale of the sun, and then the sun, our sun, is like the size of a lentil, little dot, and this thing is like this big. And we think the sun is big. It's like Gulliver's Travels, where he goes to one place and he's the giant, right? Everybody's like that big, trying to tie him down. And then he goes somewhere else and he's the little guy, and the other things are the giants. Well, that's how everything is in the universe. You got our planet. Wow, big planet. You got to get in a jet. It takes hours to get from one side to the other. Then you look at Jupiter, and we're nothing more than the red spot on Jupiter. And then Jupiter looks like nothing next to the sun. Sun's like that big, and Jupiter's like down here somewhere. And then you go and you look at the sun next to Betelgeuse. And what is it, Stevenson, that star? And our sun next to Stevenson, I think it's Stevenson, right? Yeah. Looks like a grain of sand. Just massive. And some of these stars go out into the orbit of, like, I think Jupiter or Neptune or Saturn, one of those. Huge. Where the speed of light would take like a day to reach. Not a day is too much. I think it's an hour, because a day is like way out there. I don't want to say 24 hours, but probably like 1 hour. Massive. And then you have supernovas like Betelgeuse right now, which I think tonight is on that side, right? West is due for a massive explosion. I mean, they're waiting for it. It could be any minute now. It'd blow up into a supernova and eventually probably condense into a black hole. But they have these cool videos that show you the size of objects in the universe compared to other things. And the Earth would be like the size of an atom compared to some of these objects in space. Like, I'm fascinated with the universe. fascinated. I can't tell you how much time I spent reading about it. And I'm always into the new information, because the old information becomes obsolete. You go back to the 70s, you start reading about the universe, you'll be like an ancient man from, like, 4000 BCE. That's how primitive the information gets in 20 years. So I'm always trying to find something that's like a month old, a week old, something brand new. Space.com is good. I go there and I start looking at stuff. SETI, still waiting for some kind of message. Still waiting. I'm telling you, if there's any aliens, well, I don't want to say if. It's ridiculous to think that we're the only ones in a place this big. I know there are people that, scientists that come out and say, well, we haven't detected any artificial structures. And you would think by now there would be artificial structures, because plenty of time has passed where civilization would develop the technology to build massive structures. I'm like, you can hardly see a star that's, a million light years from here, and you're telling me you're going to detect structures? Ridiculous. That guy, that's associated with the keyboards, can't think of his name right now, should have looked him up. He believes that we're the only ones. I mean, that sounds asinine to me. The only ones in a place with hundreds of billions of galaxies, where each galaxy contains hundreds of billions of stars, and there's an average of 2 stars, two planets per star average. Some may have many, some may have none, but that's the average. And you're telling me in such a place we're the only ones? The universe only got it right one time? Yeah, I don't think so. But where's the proof? Right? You need the proof. Anyway, I highly recommend this chocolate, Goodnow Farms chocolate. It's very good, very potent, and if you like chocolate, you'll appreciate it. If you don't, if you're like one of those people that likes, I don't know, Hershey Kisses, then this is probably not for you. That's it.